All right, Second Chronicles chapter 25. Let's call this one How Not to Get Ahead by Minimizing Justice, because in this chapter we're going to see King Amaziah take over from his father, King Joash, king of Judah, and he's right away, as soon as he gets established, he is going to seek to get even with those who killed his father in payment for the way that he betrayed the family of Jehoiada, the man whose family saved his life and made him king. And so not content to think that, well, maybe they lashed out against my father because he did wrong. He is going to get even with them as soon as he is established. And he is going to do that not by completely dismissing justice altogether. He is going to seem to dismiss justice by making a technically correct application of the law. And so he is going to kill those servants who conspired to kill his father, but he is not going to kill their children for their sins, making a technically correct application of the law, saying that fathers should not die for the sins of their sons, and likewise sons should not die for the sins of their fathers. But that technical application of the law is going to still create what seems to be an unjust outcome. How do we know? Maybe because going forward, we're going to see him try to continue to rebuild on all of the destruction that seemed to take place in Judah under the reign of Athaliah, and again, under the latter portion of the reign of his father Joash. And so what he's going to try to do is rebuild the army to go out to war against Edom, but he is not going to be confident that he has enough forces to face them. So he is once again going to retread the old ground of trying to contract with Israel. And if he hadn't already seen by historical example that that is a bad idea, God is going to send him a prophet that says, "What are you doing? God is not with them. Send them home." But he's going to ask the prophet, "Well, what should I do about all the money I've paid to hire them to go to war with me?" He's going to be like, "Look, God can replace that. It's not worth it trying to partner up with them." And the prophet's word is going to prove to be true, because as Amaziah gets his courage up and defeats the Ammonites with the forces he thought were otherwise inadequate to do that, he's going to later find that those soldiers that he released, fully paid, not having to go to war, are going to be upset enough that they are going to plunder his own cities on their way back to Israel, killing roughly 3,000 people and taking, as the chapter is going to say, much spoil. But before he can deal with that, he is going to find another man of God with a word for him, saying, "Okay, wait a minute. Why have you taken the gods of the Edomites? They are a defeated people. God just delivered you. And so why are you trying to worship the gods of people who you just defeated?" Once again, this is another example of a prophet simply asking them to put two and two together to come up with four, not beating them over the head with a harsh truth. But his response is going to have another technical application of law, as Amaziah is going to say, "Wait a minute, you're not one of the royal counselors, so I don't have to listen to you." When the bottom line was, he was simply speaking truth to you, and God had actually sent him to try to steer you away from a path that was leading you back into national decline, and a national decline that is also going to come with a heavy personal cost to Amaziah, as we see him ignore the prophet and threaten to kill him, helping us to see another way in which he uses a technical application of law, meaning this was not an authorized counselor to create an unjust outcome, threatening to kill him. And so the prophet's going to be like, "Wait a minute, I know what's going on here. Hey, you carry on, and I think I understand what God is doing to you." And so what Amaziah is going to go on to do is seemingly make another unjust application of the facts, understanding he could simply take ownership of the fact that he had no business trying to contract with the kings of Israel again. And so the damage that their army did to Judah was really his responsibility, because it's not like he didn't already know. But instead of either simply taking responsibility and saying, "That's my fault, let's just try to rebuild and move forward," or simply trying to negotiate with the king of Israel to compensate for all the damage that the soldiers from Israel had done, he's going to start another war with Israel, at which point the king of Israel is going to seem to laugh. And the king of Israel is going to tell him a story that suggests he is biting off more than he can chew. But much like his response to the last prophet, he is not going to listen. He's going to fight with the king of Israel, and he is going to be defeated and plundered, leaving the entire nation in another state of national decline after his early successes had put them back on the road to recovery. But much like his father Joash was spared by the Syrian army, only to go back to Judah and have his servants conspire to kill him to repay him for the evil that he had done to the house of Jehoiada, once again, the people who had saved his life and made him king. Likewise, he's going to live a lot longer than his father did after this particular battle, but likewise, his servants are going to conspire against him and kill him after a life lived using technical applications of law to create unjust outcomes